Well, joining us now is Nationals MP Keith Pitt. Keith, great to see you. Now, I'm getting very, very confused because we're being told we can't use our dishwashers, we can't use our washing machines, and all of this is being done to prevent blackouts. Yet I thought renewable energy was going to give us this great nirvana, this utopia of endless, cheap, affordable energy. So what am I missing here? What's the missing link? Could it be a bloke called Chris Bowen?
Well, there's definitely a bloke called Chris Bowen, but he's not partial blackout, he is all blackout. And when we're talking about these things, it's called demand management. And unfortunately, back in 2014, it was also a coalition position. I was opposed to it for a couple of reasons. The first one is when your air conditioner won't work because it's been selectively turned off, or your electric stove, or your hot water system, or anything else that uses a lot of energy, guess who it impacts? Voters. And I think that's a problem. And secondly, the idea that someone can reach into your household and decide what appliance you can turn on and off, and also control your solar, mind you, to curtail at times when you don't need it, which is pretty much when it's operational. Well, guess who else could do that? Well, potentially China, or someone who doesn't have a great interest in our country, in fact, are not our friends. You've got all of these impacts which can occur because there's an IT connection into every single household. I just think it's mad. Why don't we just have cheap, affordable, reliable energy that people can turn the switch on and use it when they want to?
Well, Keith, you are an electrician by trade. Before you got into politics, you were the local Sparky. What's it like does the average person out there, the people who would have been your customers in the past, do they really understand the degree to which Labor are destroying the energy supplies into their homes, into their households, into the future?
Well, they know what's on their power bill. They know it didn't go down by $275. It's gone up. And they know that they've been trying their hearts out. A lot of them have put solar on the roof because they can't afford to pay their bill. Some of them do it because it makes them feel good, and that's great. But the reality is coming back now. There's lots of places where it's curtailed. There's lots of places where solar's not allowed to be connected because of its impact on the network, particularly in very densely populated areas. And they all know that this is happening to them. They can't really understand it because the connection's not been made. It is a direct connection to the policies of the Labor government, and it's going to get worse.
Rita.
Well, I'm interested in this news report that we had from Nine Media in recent days saying that perhaps power companies in the future can control our air conditioning. So you can't set the air conditioner at the level you want it. They might say 21 is the absolute minimum you can set your temperature to. That's something that is being seriously discussed, and it's bloody frightening. I do wonder whether Australians will back something like that, whether they can be convinced that it's for the greater good to allow electricity companies to dictate that to households.
Well, Rita, I think the first place to start is Canberra. Let's take all the air conditioning out of all the public service buildings and let's see how it goes from there. Or potentially we turn it off when it's not sunny. I just think this is mad. Every Australian has the right, in fact, they're entitled to have a reliable energy supply they can afford. And for even those that can afford to run their air conditioners much lower, well, good luck to them. If they can afford it, that's great. But the idea that Big Brother can reach into your household and determine what your air conditioner will be set at, whether you can cook a chicken or not, whether you're allowed to put your clothes dryer on, all because the network is in a disastrous state, all because of Blackout Bowen's plans for more wind and solar that aren't reliable. It's not the Australian people's fault. It's the Australian government's fault.
It's not that far-fetched. It was only, a week or so ago when we had Premier Minns saying, don't turn on your dishwasher or washing machine tonight because we've got peak demand and we may have blackouts if people... So we've already having people guilted into not using their appliances at certain periods. And when you're looking at the resources we're sitting on, hundreds, if not thousands of years of reserve, it's utterly mad, Keith. It's hard to understand how we've got to this point.